I guess it makes sense. Okay. I'm doing it blind, but I can see it well enough to do that. A lot better. That's much easier to see through. Okay. Okay. Give me a second. Put that in. I'm gonna pull this closer to me. Trap myself in a little corner here. Okay. Lift that. Lift that. Wow. Just make sure I have this in the right mode. Yep. Okay, we're good. We're good. Let me pull up my chat monitor. I see that there's a message in chat already. Yes. Here we are. Hello. Okay. Set that there. Now I got my chat monitor up. And everything is all nice and happy. So, it's been a little while. It's been a couple weeks, in fact. But, some exciting developments have happened since then. So, obviously, the last stream went bad. We lost a ton of mons. In fact, we lost 6. We lost a whole team's worth. Not in a team wipe, but just we lost a team's worth. My goal is to get mons to as close to level 37 as possible, so I'm probably going to just have to have like a grind sesh night in this before I'm ready to continue forward. That's okay. You know, obviously, we have had quite the train wreck, let's say, of a stream. Because last stream we lost Poire, Miel, Don, Poulet, Ton, and Foie, which is not good. Especially Foie, because Foie was shiny. But, and I'm gonna take this. We were able to, through Poire, Ton, and Foie, because I only used dead ones for this. I treated it kind of like how when I did my Battle Revolution, I had a team of alive mons and a team of dead mons. I went online with dead mons. They're all set to level 50 all. So that was fine. That worked really well. And I was able to get to rank S, which is the rank that you need to get to get Chestnut Height. But not only did I get Chestnut Height as a result of the others being distributed at the lower ranks, I also got Delphoxite and Greninjite. So that's exciting. I also learned you do actually, in fact, only get one of each stone. Which is like not a problem, but I don't know. I kind of feel like it would be nicer if I could have, you know, shared these stones among all of my mons of a specific line. But, you know, it is what it is. Or if there's a way to get like duplicate stones, that would also be nice. Just because it would have been nice if I could have given my Sharpedo the Sharpedo, but I had it on we had it on Soup, and Soup, I didn't want to take it off because I felt like I would forget to put it back on Soup, which would have made me sad to do. But yeah, so that's that. Yeah, we now have Chatonia has the beautiful Chestnutite rockin'. So we're back up to 3 megas, which is exciting. We're not gonna have Truth's Mega Stone for a little while. Pokémon, I think I might have bought one. Did I buy one? Do I have any of the Charizards? No, I did not buy it, but I can buy it. I'm allowing myself to buy the Mega Stones because it's the only way to get a few of them. Yeah. That is where we're at. Also, sunset in foggy weather kind of goes wild in this game. Also, I did mention this at the end of the last stream. Not the last stream of this game, but like the last stream in general. That I would have things to say when I got back regarding Metroid Prime. And I do. And first, I just want to show. So I don't mind the darkness, and also the fact that this is 30 FPS. It's all the Switch 2 can capture at is 1080p 30. But this is like really early game. I thought this was really pretty. You know, obviously these are screen space reflections that they're doing here. Like they're not doing anything with like, you know, ray trace reflections in this scene. Like you can see there's like a little halo of the reflection of the gun around the gun. But this looks so good. It's a little dark here, and that's because I'm playing in HDR mode. And the way it calibrates the game itself, it's really nice. You are individually calibrating the game as well beyond just the overall system level calibration. And that's to dial in the exact brightness you need to get the ideal range of contrast. So this is at like the ideal brightness level for me, which is like quite low. It's like I think a brightness of like 16, but it looks gorgeous. And here's just another cool spot I found. So anytime there's like a hologram that's made by the alien race in the game, the Lemorn, the holograms are like, they're psychic holograms. Like they are holograms, but they're using like all their stuff's like all psychic-y and weird. And so when you go inside of one of the holograms, it like splits your vision based on how deep you are in the hologram. So it'll like tighten up as you get to the edges of the hologram. But while I'm in the center, you get these like 6 radially displaced versions of everything I can see, but washed out in purple, so you can only see these highlights. And it just looks so cool. I don't know, I love when developers do these little things like that. Like you can see as I stepped out, it kind of faded away. I'm gonna see if I can catch as we go in. So here you can see it starting to split with the lights on the ground, and then it splits rather quickly because there's a small hologram. If this was a really large hologram, though, it's actually very hard to get to this level of split because it's hard to get to the center of the hologram, because like a lot of the larger ones, they're also tall. So if you go into it, you're staying on like the outskirts of it, and I just think it's a really cool effect. Also, music in this game, fire. Like, I was a little like, I wasn't worried because I watched the Digital Foundry tech review, and the ambiance was really brought up in that video, where like, you know, you don't get a lot of music. Like a lot of the motifs aren't there as much as like ambient sound is. And I think that's definitely true of the desert. Like there is no music in the desert, it's just ambiance. Unless you're in the New Game Plus or if you have the amiibo. But it's the intention of the desert is for it to have this just ambient, low, almost eerie wind. That almost feels like, you know, there's like voices crying out. It's creepy and weird, and it's really ambient, and it's really cool. But each of the areas, like of the main areas of the game, they do have actual themes, and those themes play a lot more than I thought. The ambient themes are for specific zones, or like in this place, it's not always powered. So when you start in the area, you know, it's not powered, all the lights are off, and you have this ambient sound. And then once you activate the power, the theme like flares up for that area, and then you go to like the next area and you need to activate the power there and experience it as well. I think that's like super cool, how they handled it. But no, Prime 4, last thought on it that I want to say before I get into Pokemon. Prime 4 is through and through, it is a Prime game. If you like Prime 1, if you like Prime 2, if you like Prime 3, any of those, you'll probably like Prime 4. There's a few things that it does differently, but for the most part, I feel like it's very similar to 3, but a lot of what 3 does, 4 does that but better in some way, shape, or form. In some cases, it's something that you might vary on, but I think, like, 3 had dialogue, 3 had side characters. I think 4 does dialogue, side characters better. Voice acting better. In fact, it also has some aspects of 2, and I think this does it better as well than what 2 did in certain spots. Because when you unlock like other weapon types, like those have ammo, like in 2. But in 2, there was one type of ammo for each of the types of attacks. For the most part, like you get the dark beam, you need dark ammo. You get the light beam, you need light ammo. And I think the last one used both. In Prime 4, the way it works is you need you need ammo, but it's just called shot ammo, and it's for any of the alternate fire options. And I think that works really well, that you have this one ammunition that carries through all of the weapons. I think Hunters did that, actually, where there's an alternate ammo and all of them used it, so it actually in a way takes some inspiration from Hunters there. But the one thing that I think is probably the most, it does what Prime 3 does, but better in my opinion, is the desert. So in Prime 3, you had each of these planets that were essentially your areas that you went to, were like the different planets or different parts of those planets. And the connecting bit in between was when you would fly up in your ship and you'd fly into outer space and you'd just be sitting there and you would decide which planet you wanted to go to. That was how the hub was kind of handled. In Prime 4, the hub is the desert. And I think that works better in a few key ways. Way 1, you can see the places that you can go to, like they have a landmark. It's very Monolith soft in that sort of respect. Each place has a landmark that you can see from a distance. You can see that there's a volcano in the distance, Death Mountain style. You can see that there's a factory off in the distance and it's surrounded by storm clouds. You can see there's a giant tree. You can see there's an icy mountain. Like, you can see those landmarks and know, okay, that's a place I can go to. It's honestly, it feels a bit like Majora's Mask, because you're like in like this one central space, and like radially around it there's a bunch of different landmarks, and at the center of it is a tower, and that tower is kind of the focal point of the game, is to try to get into it. But no, I think I like the desert, because the desert, while there's not a lot of interaction in it, there's things to do. There's these crystals you can break, and they break most easily by driving through them. Sometimes it's kind of a little finicky because you have to be good at steering, and I'm not good enough at steering my bike to do that. So what I end up doing often is I'll like do a few passes, and if I don't get all the crystals by then, I just hop off and just blow up the crystals with my gun. But there's these like shrines that give you different like upgrades and stuff like that, and you can get into them with like having access to different weapons. And there's also a few key things with the Federation Force. Like, early in the game, you find like a large mech that's damaged, and it's like, oh, And I looked at that and I'm like, we probably rebuild it at some point. And sure enough, in different areas of the game, you can find pieces of it. And I'm like, I bet, because I've heard, and this is a standard thing across all Prime games, this is not a spoiler, there's fetch quests towards the end. There's always an ending fetch quest. And a lot of people don't like them. I love them. They're part of what makes Prime Prime. If you aren't having to go to all the places you've been at the end of a Prime game to find the things that you missed, it's not a Prime game to me. That is an essential piece of the Prime puzzle. And there's like a bunch of different pieces of this mech that are out there. I think I wouldn't be surprised if the other fetch quest is getting the green crystals that you need, because those also give you upgrades, but also like by depositing them in the thing, like that's how you get upgrades. But that seems to be one of the key objectives in the game, is filling up all the green crystals in the thing that holds green crystals. So I'm assuming that that's the other fetch quest, is like, oh, you have to get all of them. So it's like, just get them as you go. If you find a spot that you can do something and you have the means to get into the shrine thing, or if you have, you know, if you're driving by and you see green crystals, break them, shoot them, blast them. Inside the shrines, there's a bunch of green crystals. Outside of them, there's scattered little formations of crystal all over the desert. Break it if you see it. Get that green crystal, deposit it. It's great. I like that quite a bit, actually, and I like that the desert is so ambient. You know, I leave a place with this awesome music and I get back into this desert, and it's just this like solemn reminder of I am stuck on this planet, and I have objectives. You know, I'm not just going through and doing cool stuff. I'm also like trying to do something. I don't know. I like that. Not everyone does. That's fair. So I've actually quite enjoyed the existence of the desert. But anyways, I have rambled about Prime 2. I've rambled about Prime 4 for too long. You know, it's been like 17 minutes. So I'm just going to get back. I'm playing Pokemon. I'm not playing Prime. But I've been playing so much Prime that it's like all that's on my mind, and has been on my mind since Thursday. So I just need to talk about it. Speaking of breaking crystals, honestly, it does feel quite a bit like when you break crystals in this game. Hello, sir. What are you doing? Wild zones are great, aren't they? I get to spend my days catching Magikarp. Have a look. I was able to catch an extra large Magikarp. It said XL in its summary, so I know for sure it's a big one. It's extra large and extra splashy. You know, I dare say there isn't a single Magikarp out there that's bigger than mine. Why, if you do manage to catch a Magikarp that's bigger than XL, I'd love to see it. Suppose I have heard there's an unusually large Magikarp in Wild Zone 2. But that's just a rumor, mind you. Okay. I'm not catching it. I had a Magikarp. Unless it's shiny. If I get a shiny Alpha Magikarp, sure. Nighttime is approaching. Grabbing some items while it's getting close to nighttime so I can train up Pimon. Oops. It's not gonna go to you. Dragon Breath. But yeah, so far I highly recommend Prime 4. This is something that I am very happy about, because it's not like the series has been on quite a long hiatus if you count just the numbered series of Prime games. You know, there's also been Federation Force in like 2015, 2016. That game's fine, but it's definitely not the same as the numbered Prime games at all. I don't dislike it, but a lot of people do. I think it was. I think it got a bad rap because it came out in a time when there weren't a lot of Prime games coming out, and everyone wanted to see 4 happen, and instead we got that. There wasn't even a lot of Metroid games in general. Everyone wanted a new Metroid. Didn't see that. We saw Federation Force. I think it's a good game. I think it's fine. Like, it's not amazing, but it's a fine game. All right, where's our battle zone? Let's pop over. Knock out opponents using water type moves. Okay, that's doable. Let's Mega Evolve just to make this easier. Meditate. That was easy enough. I should have used a water move, actually. I should have used Flip Turn. Forgot that was what my thing was for a second. Okay. Super effective moves. Do I have, like, Rock Smash at all or something? That would be super effective. Nope. Wait. I have Brick Break on Chatonia. I could do that. I could just... Let's do this. Nice, we got Paralysis off. Okay. No stick. Cool. It was not a water move, but it was a super effective move, so I wanted to get that in. I do want to change moves. Crunch over Night Slash, I think, is probably good. So let's do that. Ooh. Super effective move opportunity. Get it. Okay, we're getting to safety. Uh-oh, that's not safety. I suppose I could have. I was like, I have a ground type on my team. What am I doing? Alright. Super effective moves are used. No, she saw me. Whoa! She's him. Get out of here. Yeah, it's just not worth it if I'm not sneaking up, so... That was quite easy. We'll take it. Oh, this is a coffee person. Gotcha. Get X scissored, and we're good. I would love one because my Charmeleon is struggling. He's not doing so hot. Now he's good. Okay, nothing useful there yet. Whirlipede. Dig. Getcha. Gyarados was a little scary because I don't have. Once my Charmeleon isn't a baby, like, you know, actually, once I have a Charizard in the first place, I feel like that's not going to be that scary, but. Item. Ooh. She seems like a higher level to me. Something about her just screams high level trainer to me. No, rank F, okay. Okay, who do I want to send in then? I could Aerialise with Cookie, but Cookie is weak to that. I could lead Piedmont Firefang, swap out after the surprise hit. Finish with Hibiscus, because Hibiscus takes not very effective damage from... Or I could just start Hibiscus, which might be safest. Yeah, we'll just start Hibiscus. Get blasted! Nice, okay. We are up to level 25. Rock. Oh, I switched to you. Switching. There we are. Bye. Again, once we have an actual, like, usable Charmeleon for fights, for the most part, that would have been easier to deal with the Weeping Bell. That guy with a Scolipede feels high level. Okay, but if we do a plus move... Okay, not enough to KO. Swap out. Sends in Sharpedo. Houndoom. Same solution. Oh, I've been burnt. Burn's easy enough to deal with. Frostberry. Alright, I see trainer with a Metatite. Lucha. Nope. I was like, you're not going anywhere, bud. Which I think that was actually a Quick Claw activation. We got that instant Draining Kiss, which is awesome. Yeah, that was definitely Quick Claw, because I heard the item sound effect go off. Come on. Manectric. Bye. We're getting there. Far into the night, are we? Okay, about a third of the night left. Got like 4 levels out of this. It's not bad. Let's do this. Swap. Back. Ooh, Victory Bell. Okay, that went quite well. Carbank. Back to Steel. Nice. Okay, that worked pretty well. I don't think I have flying. Oh, I do have Aerial Ace on my Absol, actually. I do have a flying type move. No. I was hoping that Fire Fang Plus would do more damage than that, but that's okay. Quickly, Bodos! Uh-oh, Gary Dose. Uh-oh. Big draining cast. Alright, Roselia. Yeah, we're still at a point where we're gonna need Pimon as the lead for a while, but pretty good. Nice. Before he could get his bulldoze out. That was a little scary. But thankfully Bulldoze and Earthquake both have like a slightly longer lead time before they get used, so. Hunter! Nope. You gone. You gone. Get out of here. Okay, almost getting to daylight. Okay, Lucario. Nope. Mawile. Goodbye. There's a trainer right there. Go get it. No! Another one trying to bulldoze me. Shadow Claw. I can definitely get to 20 wins tonight, which is good. It's a little trickier. I'm gonna rock Hibiscus. Do the Draining Kiss first, and then we're gonna Moonblast, since we're slowed down. We got paralyzed on Hibiscus, which is fine. Is it worth? I don't know if it'll be worth healing that. It's like about to be daylight. Try to grab it. That's the wrong move. Too late anyways, doesn't matter. Money. That was a pretty good amount of levels we were able to gain off that, though, so I will say that that was pretty good. I'm happy with that. I'm gonna head to the Stone Emporium. I'm gonna heal up and then I'm gonna check my stats, see where things are leaning. Check my nature on Charmeleon and just kind of gauge like which one I should prioritize. I personally prefer Mega Charizard Y. That's just me. A lot of people prefer X. I know. It looks like, so we have a neutral nature. Our special attack's higher, but we are technically a special attacker. We have a lot of attack EVs just passively. So it might be more worthwhile for me to get X than Y, but I think I'm gonna like try. I'm gonna see what Y does for me, and we'll start there. Hey there, I'm a color context designer. Maybe you've even used some of my designs. The thing is, I've been stuck in a bit of a creative rut recently. Guess you'd call it a slump. I need something to get my creativity flowing. I need inspiration through change, and I think I know exactly what I need to see. Mega Evolution. Mega Evolution is the definition of change. I need to see the power it brings to Pokémon. In particular, I want to see Mega Camerupt. I bet its powerful eruptions will blast me with ideas, and so I have to ask you, do you think you could show me Mega Camerupt in a battle? Eventually. Mayhaps. Alright, let's pop in here. Yeah. I have the money for both X and Y, so I'll get X and Y. Might as well. I could probably grab... It could be worth to grab some of the others that are in here. Kangaskhanite is a good, because it's a single stage. Yeah, I'll get Kangaskhanite, and then I'm gonna grab Metachimite. New Megastones. Satchel. I'm like, where am I going? Yeah, so we got a bunch of new Megastones. Those will come in handy. I'm just gonna give Charizardite Y to Pimo now. Oh, look over there. Do you see that mound of dirt? I think a wild Pokemon's made its nest there. The problem is, it's preventing anyone from using the Holovator. Could you chase that Pokemon away? I feel a little bad for it, but I don't really have a choice. Vernal Avenue. Do I have a Vernal Avenue encounter yet? Because this might count as a Vernal Avenue encounter if it's a unique Pokemon. It's probably just like something I already have, but... Do I have Vernal Avenue yet? No, I don't have Vernal Avenue. So, hypothetically, I could. Do we see what it is? No, but let me just check. Have I gotten... Okay, I had a Bunnelby that died, and I have a Drillbur that has evolved. I don't have a Gibble, if it's that. I forget what this is. Who are you? Like, I don't even know if I can even catch it, to be fair. Okay, it is a Diggersby. So I can't catch it based on that. But I also don't know if you could even try. Or if it'd be like, no, you can't catch that. Don't do it. Okay, you can catch it. But I've unfortunately already gotten one, so Dupe Plus says no. Sorry, Diggersby. I love you. I love you, buddy. But it's not the day. So that nest belongs to a Diggersby, huh? That makes sense, actually. A Diggersby probably could dig its way here from a wild zone. Anyway, thanks for sorting that out. Now we can use the Holovator. Don't worry about Diggersby's hole. I filled it up while you were battling. And now you can reach the rooftop too, so it's great. Sorry, it's got a great view of the tower. Check it out sometime. Yay! Yay! Ooh, soft sand. Soft sand could be good to have until I have my Megastone for Through, so... that might be worth doing. I'm giving you that. Alright, okay, that's good. Up we go. Wow. Where does this count as? Ver Sector 9, which I don't know if I have an encounter in yet. Oh, Ver Sector I have 6 and 8. I don't have 9. Though I have Pidgey. And I've had Budew. I don't know if there's any mons here that I can get that I don't have yet. Yeah. Had you. Have you. Okay. Yeah, I can't make that. I don't have the jumpy jump yet. I was hoping I would hit both, but that's okay. Do I have scatter? I do have scatterbug. Nope, never mind. We're good. See, this is one of those things that I mean, like, eventually you just run out of encounters in this game. There's just not that many. That's okay. I think this game having constrained decks is fine. I know some people have been grumbling about it. I think my only issue is that this game doesn't have decks as large as the regional decks of Kalos itself. I think that is my only gripe with it, but at the same time, realistically, it kind of makes sense by the fact that we're in just Lumios and not all of Kalos, but I do wish we would have seen a slightly broader array of mons, because Kalos had a really good regional decks. At the same time, I do know we're getting a bunch of new ones with the DLC in like 4 days. Though I don't know that many, if any, are from the Kalos regional decks. I know Zubat's coming, and Zubat's in the regional decks. Can I do that with rules only? I feel like I can. This feels like a rollable challenge. I can do it. I can do it. I don't need the glide. Okay, you know what? I give up. I'm not gonna bash my head against that for too long. Because I know if I don't stop now, I'll be doing that for like the next 10 minutes straight. And everyone's gonna be like, wow. Why is it all he's streaming, just rolling into a corner, bashing his face off a wall? That seems like bad content. Go, bite it! No, it's gone. Wait, do I have Petrat? I feel like I do. I do. Okay. Just checking. Just making sure. I don't have Eevee, right? I don't. Eevee is tough. Eevee is tough. What district am I in? Blue Sectile 7. Oh no, I have that. Never mind. Alright, I'm sorry, Eevee. You're not gonna get caught today. You go, run off. You're allowed. Hello, Weedle. Yeah, this still counts as Sector 7. I can't get these guys either. Probably should have decided to brick break this rock. Okay, 32 is not your evolution level. Okay, that's a little sad. I was hoping it was. Chomp it. Okay. I'm not looking at as far as the number of those go. 579, that's not bad. It's getting me close to being able to buy some new Mega Stones with those. Oh, it's this one again. Nope, 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 nope. Nope, leaving it, leaving it. Get out of here. I just saw it and I was like, oh, a thing, a scaffolding, I can climb it. I can climb a scaffolding. Like, no, this is the one that I literally was just like, no, I gotta leave. I gotta leave, or I'm gonna be here for the entire remainder of stream. And that it will not be fun to watch or fun to do. I should probably progress the plot though, here. I probably should. No, I don't want to make over. I don't want. Okay, I need to talk to Naveen. So I gotta fight Naveen so that I can then go. Or no, I don't have to fight Naveen. I fought Naveen. I need to have a challenger ticket. Right. Yep. Okay. That side of the electrical substation in the Magenta District. That's where the quiz is held. I'll go ahead and wait there. Please come quickly. I can now progress to the electrical substation. Hi, Naveen. To win the title of Canary Quizwiz, you need to last all 3 rounds of the contest without getting eliminated. The last fan standing wins. There should be someone handling check-in nearby. Talk to them to enter. Also, you'll need to say the password in order to participate in the contest. If they ask, just say, "Let's go Dynamo." Here, take this earpiece. If you're seen using your Rotom phone, it'll be a dead giveaway. I'll be listening in the whole time, so just make sure you behave yourself around Canary. Usually I work construction, but I lend a hand with Dynamo events from time to time. You looking to enter the contest? Then you gotta know the password. Well, go on then. What's the password? Let's. What's next? Go. Finally. Dynamo. So let's go Dynamo is your answer, yeah? Bingo. Clearly you know the password, so you're welcome to pass on through. We got it. We're in. We're in. I can't wait to get another Quizwiz contest win under my belt. Yet, the question remains, what prize do I ask for? She's already signed all of my Canary Blush. I haven't seen you before. Are you, perchance, new to the Dynamo community? Just so you know, the Canary Quiz Whiz contest is very tricky. Even veteran Canatics, that's what we Dynamo members call ourselves, struggle to make it past the first round. New or casual fans may not fully enjoy the complexity. What's zappin', gamers? Get ready for a jolt. Let's go, Dynamo. Let's go, Dynamo. Thunder Wave. How's it going, you crazy Canatics? Who wants to meet me? What? You all blinded by those stars in your eyes? You're meeting me right now. Alright, enough of that. Let's get right to the main event, the Canary Quiz Whiz contest. Listen up, Canatics. Here's how this works. The quiz has 3 rounds. Get the most right answers every round to move on to the next. Round one's a simple true or false quiz. Go to the green area if you think my statement is true, and the red area if it's false. The first round is so simple, I doubt it'll even count as a warm-up. Question 1. True or false? I'm crazy good at falling block puzzle games. Choose the check for true or the X for false. To make sure you get to the next round, let's try to nail every question. I'm here as backup if you need it, but for now, just pick whichever answer you think is right. Obviously, she's good at it. She's been streaming it. Hope she's good. Time's up. Let's see who got it right. The correct answer is... true. I could watch those blocks fall all day long. Most days, I actually do. Alright, what's next? Question 2. True or false? Macarons are my favorite food. Choose X. Or sorry, choose check for true or X for false. This one's easy too. Alright, I'm just gonna follow Monty. Time's up. Let's see how you did. The correct answer is... false. Come on, Canatics. You know I don't like sweets. Question 3. True or false? Electric-type Pokémon are my fave. Choose check for true or X for false. Everyone knows how much she loves Electros. Time's up. Let's see who got this one. The correct answer is... true. No duh, Namo. Why do you think I wear yellow? That's me channeling the power of electric types. And of course, my partner's an electric type too. Speaking of my partner, I think you've all earned a special treat. Get ready for a special guest appearance from your friend and mine, the Zaptastic Electros. Congrats to the Canatics who got all 3 right. You're charging ahead to round 2. Nice job. Well, I pride myself in being Canary's oldest and most dedicated fan. I must admit you answered those questions surprisingly well. A fluke, no doubt, but maybe your luck will hold. Let's both do our best in round 2. People like him are exhausting. What a tragic lack of self-awareness. Can't he see that this self-satisfied one-upping only serves to drive away other fans? Anyway, let's get ready for round 2. Once you've prepared, head over to Canary. Thunderwave! Let's go Dynamo! Let's go Dynamo! Come on, you crazy Canatics. If you're amped to see me, make some noise. Looks like the only ones moving on to round 2 of the contest are these 5 Canatics right here. I totally got this. Once I win, I'll have Canary sign my most prized Canary merch. Oh, Canary. It's my right, nay, my duty, to win. The next round is but a pit spot. Is but a pit stop on the path to victory. It's Canary Quiz Whiz contest time. For round 2, you gotta find the thing I ask for and bring it to me. Here's your task. My partner Electros, the Elefish Pokemon, has a favorite dessert. You need to find that dessert and bring it back here. It can't be that simple. The correct answer is a Lumio Skelet, but knowing Canary, there must be some twist. Unless... I believe I understand what she's after. For now, we need to go find a Lumio Skelet. We should head for Cafe Gallant in Magenta Sector 1. To Cafe Gallant. A Hondu berry. Well, hello there. Hondu. Nice. Let's get the rest of the way over. I see Monty's here. Lumio Skelet secured. My victory is assured. Now I'll sprint back at lightning speed. He's sprinting back? He could have just called a Lumicab. Still, that fellow is a formidable opponent. What do you mean? Canary's Electros doesn't just like any ordinary Lumio Skelet. It has to be one that's been overbaked to a nice firm crunch. Lumio Skelets cure status conditions when eaten by a Pokemon. Canary's Electros once ate one during a battle to recover from a burn. Apparently, it's had a real taste for them ever since. After all, what would you say is Electros's most defining trait? It's fangs? I am impressed. That's right, it's fangs. It's pretty rare for Canary to talk about Pokemon battling on her stream, you know. Only a fan who's been watching her since her early days would know the correct answer. In any case, let's order the special type of Lumio Skelet we need. I'd like my usual Super Lumio Skelet, please. DB, take this. This should get you through round 2. Let's head back towards the electrical substation. Whee. 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 No, I will say, just because we got a little ways to go here, I do want to mention something about Metroid Prime 4 that I feel even more strongly. So I said this when I first saw it. I went, man, I swear to God, if they don't have a Nintendo-centric expansion on Mario Kart World in the DLC, they eventually do have DLC, assuming they will, I want them to have a Metroid section so that they can add the Viola and Samus's gunship as vehicles. Alright? We need a Samus's gunship cart, and we need a Viola bike. That's it. That's end of thought. I think it would be really cool. I think they could utilize the fact that the Viola has other skins in game to like maybe give it alternate color palettes that it can have, depending on different costumes for characters or different characters entirely. I think there's also the thing you can do. You could have Samus in different armor sets as different costumes or something. I think that would be fun. Just like, because that's the thing is like some of the characters have like different unique animations for different things. So imagine you get Zero Suit Samus to start. You go to the volcano area and you get the Varia suit. You go to like an earlier area, you get like the power suit. You go to like a place with a lot of water, you get the gravity suit. Like you can get those. And then, you know, you could go somewhere with like, let's go do this before it hits nighttime in game. I don't know, you go somewhere stormy, I don't know, you get the Viola suit. Like you could have those in game as different suits you could have as different, you know, costumes, and then those could come with like certain specific animations that they utilize that are different, and otherwise for the most part it would be like, you know, she would have most of the same animations, but when she's in her suits, like she would have like special ones type of thing. And people might go like, well, what about her cannon? The cannon's not always there. The cannon can go away and be just another hand. She can be holding the bike, and she could have an animation when she's in one of the ones that has like the cannon where she goes and like it turns into a cannon, and like goes like ding, and then she like, you know, has it go away and then grabs back onto the bike. I don't know. I think that would be a fun trick animation. Similarly, like the suits could have like a little thing where she could like morph balls as a trick. But I think that would be fun. I think that would be cool. I think the Viola makes it even cooler. I just imagine this like really high off-road stat, you know, vehicle that's not that performs well on rough terrain or something like that. I don't know. I think that would be really cool. And then maybe have the gunship that performs well on like water or something. I don't know how you'd want to do that one, but I think that would be cool. That's it. That's all I'm thinking with it. Yeah. Anyways, back to this. That was a fairly mild task for this contest. Oh, excuse me, it must have been very difficult for a casual Knatic, a Kenobi, if you will. What's zappin', you crazy Knatics? Who brought back a tasty snack for Electros? What we're looking for is a Lumio Skelet. Obviously. Oh no. Yep, a Lumio Skelet. In other words, that was another freebie. Uh-oh, what's this? Why does everyone look so calm? Did you all get it right? Dang. Guess that one was a little too easy. Or was it? You think the Canary Quiz Biz contest has any freebie questions? Ha! As if. Too bad, so sad, but you got this one. WRONG. You, Superfan. And you, New Kid. Show me those Lumio Skelets you brought. Well, want to tell us what you've got here? It's a Super Lumio Skelet. You mentioned it in episode 231 of Canatalk. Shocking side stories, if I'm not mistaken. Zap and heck, you two, you're both so amazing. Wow, you totally got it right. Lumio Skelets are Electros's favorite snack, especially the overbaked ones. It's not just about taste. Electros loves the solid, crunchy texture those galettes get when they're extra well done. That's because my partner here simply loves biting into stuff with its fangs. So, if the Lumio Skelet is too soft, it's not the toothsome experience my Electros wants. Since you two were the only ones to get that one right, guess what? You're both moving on to the final round of the Canary Quiz Whiz contest. I'm impressed you've managed to keep up with me, Canary's oldest and most knowledgeable fan. Okay, Kinetics, one last time. Thunder Wave. Let's go, Dynamo! I know why all you Kinetics are here today. You need my electrifying personality to spark joy in your dull lives, right? So, let me ask you this. Who's charged up? That's what I like to hear. Alright, back to our regularly scheduled Canary Quiz Whiz contest. The last round's got it all. A battle, a quiz, and a sweet, glorious victory. The rules are simple. The remaining two trainers will battle, and the victor must answer one final question from me. Get the question right, and you're a winner, baby. For a first-timer, you seem to possess a shocking amount of admiration for Canary. However, even if you defeat me here, there's no chance a non-Dynamo member like you will be able to answer her final question. Do you still wish to battle me, Mani, one of the first members of Dynamo and the OG Quiz Whiz? Of course I do. Quizzes aren't my only talent. My prowess as a Pokemon trainer is equally unmatched. Just like me, my electric-type Pokemon are as fierce as they are adorable. You are challenged by Mario. Pimon! Alright, what are you? Oh, parabolic charge. Oh, kind of scary. Goodbye. Emo. How can my adorable Pokemon lose when they're as shockingly cute as me? Raichu! Alright, we're using Dig. Goodbye. Oh, 7. Inconceivable! In terms of cuteness, my team clearly won, but I concede that we did lose the battle. Still, there's no hope that you'll be able to answer the final question of the quiz. Once you get it wrong, I'll swoop in with the right answer and snag the Quiz Whiz crown. Alright, it's time for the final question. Everything's riding on this one. When I was a kid, I played my first games on a laptop. Who owned that laptop? 1, me. 2, my dad. 3, my mom. Or 4, my grandpa. The answer is Canari's grandpa, number 4. This one's a rather deep cut, and the story behind it is quite tragic. Your grandpa. The laptop belonged to my grandpa? Is that your final answer? You got it. That's exactly right. You know what that means, new kid. You won the Canary Quiz Whiz contest. Congrats to our fresh-faced underdog. As Canary's oldest fan and as a Day 1 member of Dynamo, I have no choice but to accept defeat. Alright, new kid. What do you want? Autograph, selfie, PvP match on my stream? Come on, don't be shy, spit it out. I'd like a promotion match. A promotion match? Seriously? I mean, what's the point? I'm just gonna win anyway. Is this kid really a fan? I think a fan would prefer to be the same rank as Canary. Fine. Whatever. If that's what the Quiz Whiz wants, that's what the Quiz Whiz gets. As your reward, I accept your challenge. We'll battle it out at Racine Construction, cool? Now that I'm in, you better get ready to be crushed to bits like a Super Lumio Skelet. Bring your best Pokemon so you can't make any excuses when you lose. Finally landed ourselves a promotion match. Nice work. It's all because of you. You have my thanks as well. After all, you helped me become the Quiz Whiz, even if it's unofficial. I'll leave the rest to you. After all, fans really have no business getting any closer to Canary than I have now. When you're ready to battle Canary, head to Tarragon's company, Racine Construction. Part of me's like, do I wait for nightfall, do one last round of battles at night, and then go? Part of me feels like yes. Part of me feels like yes. So I think I'm going to take my Pokeball out of draw. Cool. Because what I'm thinking is Charizard won't help me during the Canary fight, but Charizard could be useful against Tarragon, and that's what I'm thinking. Nightfall. Alright, where are we off to? This battle zone up here. Blam. Oh, I didn't want to get away safely. I wanted to finish her off, but I was just backing up. Well, that's unfortunate. Oh, no, she's back. She's back now. But now she's not unaware. Come on. Die, Ariados. Be gone. Yeah, I'm gonna do a lap, come back to there, and then fight that trainer. She's a cafe trainer, which means she heals me. Right, delivery man? Photos! Photos! Ooh, Ultra Balls for free? I will take that. It also doesn't help that it's raining, it's going to affect my fire moves. Blam! No. With the frickin' brick break, that was crazy. Bro just, that was quick. He was quick with it. Alright, I gotta look at this guy a little bit. Mega Chestnut, the spiny armor Pokemon. It has fortified armor and a will to defend at all costs. Both are absurdly strong. Look at that. I have always loved how Chestnut looks. This is an awesome Mega. Mega Chestnut looks great. And the vines that he can whip with. And then the freaking axe. I will say, I'm not huge on the fact that the axe is only one of them, but comes out rounded. Like when he takes it off, you see, it's symmetrical. Though I guess it does have a hole for it to tuck into here. However, I wish then that they were not flat when pressed up against. Like the green parts growing out, I'm fine with. It's just the shape of it changing I'm not as huge on. But still very cool. I should check. I can have Spiky Shield now. Well, Spiky Shield Plus. I think I've been able to have Spiky Shield for a while. Body Slam's a good move. Get my meditate. Oh, Brick Break should be higher. What am I doing? Because Brick Break has the stab. I'm old. That's what's happening. Alright, yes, please. Ooh, we can definitely take a Snowbird out. 4 times weak. I don't care about rain. Like, that's not gonna do. That's not saving you. I could use Mind Whip, I guess. If you survive the Mind Whip, you get to be hit with Brick Break. You did not survive the Mind Whip. Bye. Also, I am going to preface this. I'm probably not going to be fighting Kanari today, because I do have something coming up this evening I have to have time to prepare for. Goodbye. will take a bonus card from you, sir. Deleted. Victory! It's just like, it just turned around and then just gone, deleted, dead. Ooh, another free heal. I feel so bad, but it works. He's so quick. Those moves just go flying. Give me a second, ma'am. Yes, please. I don't think I have any poison moves. Gyarados. Nice. Dodge the sleep powder. Nope. Goodbye. last one. I was hoping I could use super effective Rift Break on it. Let's go up. We haven't been up yet today on this section. Perfect. You are gone. Goodbye. Sure. Also, I think there's some new moves somewhere. That Flamethrower over Firefang might be good here. And by might be, I mean is good here. Drill Run. It is better than Bulldoze, I think. For story mode stuff. I feel like normal Slash is just worse Shadow Claw, you know? So I think I'll rock Shadow Claw instead. Or on swap. Bye. Alright, we got to 20. Okay, that worked. That was a slightly annoying Vivian. Yeah, be the 5K. I just want to get that flying one. But I don't think I have time. Yep. Ah, that's okay. I got one more at least. Just still good. A lot of money. All right. I do believe it is finally time for us to evolve Charmeleon into Charizard. So let's start that up. There we go. Charizard! Welcome to the party as a Charizard, Pimo. Who now wants to learn Fire Blast. That's fine. You can learn Fire Blast. That's okay. Air Slash is better for you. You could use some type coverage. I think that's better than the smoke screen here. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Alright. I'm keeping Shadow Claw for now. But Charizard is acquired. It also means Mega Charizards are acquired since we have the stones. And because Pimo is now at 38, the new team lead is going to be Soup. Oops. So we're just going to do that. And we're going to find a nice spot to end the stream. Let's do the Vera Pokemon Center because it's the closest one to Racine. Yeah, I've got like a Friendsgiving thing tonight, and as a result, I need to have time to cook sweet potatoes, because that is Ryan Burning. Alright. No deaths today. Charizard acquired today. That's pretty exciting, you know? Things aren't all bad. Oops, wrong. Yeah. Now I hit Y. Alright, yeah, sad face, thumbs up, look over. And then set it. Alright, there we are. Man, what a productive stream, I will say. That was much more productive because we did progress the plot a little bit, but we are going to have a third stream named E, which is, in fact, because I suspected there was a chance, I named the stream E2 so that the next one could be E3, because I thought that would be funny. Oh, forgot to update the thing. Charizard. That's nice. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's stream. Now that we're at the end, though, I am gonna ramble again a little bit. About Metroid Prime 4. Because Nintendo didn't want to market it, so I'll do it for them. No, I'm kidding. Metroid Prime 4. I can see where some people's criticisms are coming from. I haven't gotten all the way to the end, so I can't speak to the third act. I know some reviewers said that the third act is a little weaker. However, my understanding of the third act is that it's the Fetch Quest act, and that's how every Metroid Prime is. So I'm not upset about that possibility. I don't know, maybe... No, Prime 2, Echoes had a fetch quest. Yeah. There's always a fetch quest here. And Echoes, you can't even do the fetch quest until the end. However, in Prime 1, you can start some of the fetch quest earlier, if I remember correctly. You can get a couple of the artifacts, but there's like 15 artifacts in it, and so you have to, like, you know, you do a lot of fetching. But Prime 2 Echoes, if I remember correctly, you could not. You literally, like, the fetch quest was the fetch quest. It was very, very strict about that. If I'm remembering it right. I don't remember if Prime 3 had a fetch quest, but either way, Prime 4, beautiful game. Funnily enough, so, you know, obviously it's a Switch 1 game, with a Switch 2 version, you know, the Switch 2 edition of the game. On the Switch 1, the game is still pretty good. I would argue it looks as good as a Switch 2 third-party game, which Switch 2 third-party games have a history of not looking as good. Like, I'm thinking, like, Star Wars Outlaws, which is an impressive port, but I would argue it doesn't look particularly good on the Switch, and it runs at 1080p. So 720p version of Star Wars Outlaws on Switch 2, basically, is how visually Prime 4 looks to me on the Switch 1. And that's not bad. That's pretty good. I think it's one of the best looking games on the Switch 1 from what I've seen. But it doesn't look as good to me as Prime 4 does, having seen the Switch 2 version exclusively in the marketing after that point. But I think both look very good, remarkably so. But I think even if you have a Switch 1, it's a great buy. It is a locked 60 FPS. It is 720p, but it is a locked 60. If I remember correctly, Prime Remastered was variable 900p. Which that might also be what the case is with Prime 1, or with Prime 4, but it's generally hanging around like 720 or something like that. But, like, you know, dynamic resolution and whatnot. But no, it looks really good on Switch 1 for a Switch 1 game. I think it is an incredible work. Playing it on Switch 2, it is one of the prettiest games on Switch 2. And, you know, some people might look at that and go, like, that's a knock to things like, you know, Mario Kart World or Donkey Kong Bonanza, like Switch 2 exclusive titles. But it's not. In my eyes, it's just Retro. Retro is so good at what they do that it's like they're a league of their own visually. It's like how, you know, Game Freak, I'm always more apologetic of their visuals, because I'm like, this is good for Game Freak, you know? This is impressive for Game Freak. This is nothing compared to Prime 4. Prime 4 is insanely beautiful. Like, I would argue Prime 4 Switch 1 maybe looks worse than this, texture-wise, but model-wise, effects-wise, better than this. Prime 4 on Switch 2, drop-dead gorgeous game. The worst-looking area is the desert, and that's because it's this big, expansive space, big open space. LOD things stand out the most in spaces like that in any game. But if you're anywhere else in the game, gorgeous. And I don't even think the desert looks bad. I don't mind the desert. I get that it's, you know, other games have done deserts in a more visually interesting way, but I'm fine with it. I don't hate it. I'm sorry, I just don't hate it. But no, so much of what it does is so visually impressive. And obviously there's reasons that things like Mario Kart don't look as good. It's, you know, different ideas of scope. The way the Prime devs at Retro have handled the spaces and the work they do to change the level of detail to provide a sense that you are in a space, that you're moving through this space, is insane. It's so much effort has been put into it, and like there's spots where I've stopped and just looked and like tried to look at the different techniques they've used to make the vistas as pretty as they are. There's a lot of cards used for like distant spaces. There's a lot of times where there's a very smooth transition between a card and a model where I didn't even notice. Like, there was one thing I was looking at, I'm like, that is a card. That is a 2D asset. That's just, it looks like that thing. And then I walked further. It was on a bridge outside the temple where Miles Mackenzie stays. And I was walking down the bridge, and I suddenly noticed, I'm like, wait, that thing that I was just looking at that was a card is actually 3D from this part of the bridge. And I got distracted because there were some enemies. I fought those enemies, and I look up, and it's just, there's a 3D model of that thing in the distance now. I'm like, okay. It's so impressive how well handled those details are. I don't know, like it's super well done. And then similarly, like there's different things like with the I don't know that I would call these vistas because you're not getting like a landscape with it, but you're getting these like a cloudscape when you're in the area where there's like a storm swirling around these like giant towers. And when you're in the towers, you go down these elevators, and when you're going down the elevators, like you go down past windows and you can see yourself descending. And so there's like this storm up above, and there's like this swirling like crazy shaped storm clouds, like the craziest storm clouds I have ever seen in a game, because they don't just look like real storms, they look pointy, jagged, and aggressive. But it's a 2D asset, like it's not like a a 3D asset, so it's like it's not like it's a polygon count being lowered. It's just these beautiful like painterly aggressive storm clouds, and it's really cool. I've never seen a cloud look like that in a game, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy looking. And then you start to descend, and I'm like, man, I'm getting really close to the clouds. And I get to another elevator, I'm like, am I gonna go down and through? And then sure enough, it goes down, and suddenly I'm in the layer of clouds that was below me, which, mind you, it's storming above. There's these spire columns of like these spiky clouds in this area, and then you go down into another layer of cloud, and I'm like going through the clouds, and it's like everything gets dark except for these like occasional flashes of like red and purple and yellow lightning, and it looks really cool. And then you come back out through, and you're now in a new area where the clouds in the distance look different. You've descended through another layer of cloud. The distant clouds look completely different than these ones. It is rainier, it is stormier down there because you've now descended into more of the storm, and it's so cool. It's like in those areas that they designed to be areas that you're in, not just a hub, it is some of the most interesting visuals I've seen in a game. Like, I think Fury Green's probably the least interesting of the areas that you go to, which is like the first one's the one with all the plants. And it's like every Prime game has the place with the plants, the place that's got plant life growing and whatnot. You Torvis Bog in 2, you've got the majority of Talon 4 in 1, you've got Brio in 3. So it's like every game has like the jungle place. So it's like it's the least visually interesting because like every game's jungle place looks kind of like the jungle place from a Metroid Prime game. But it is really, really pretty there. And the plants are completely unique. Like there's no plants, I would say, in that jungle that look like plants in any of the other Prime games all that much. Like you look at it and you're like, this is a different planet's plants. But I don't think that it itself as a jungle feels all that different from Talon 4's like main overworld areas. Feels all that different from those other planty, jungly, forested spaces in Prime games. That said, when you go to Volt Forge which is really like those towers and the storms are. There's never been a Metroid Prime if it has a space that looks even remotely like that. It is insane from a visual standpoint, and a lot of it's indoors, and it's architecture you've never seen in a Prime game. Every bit of architecture from the alien race in Prime 4 is so wholly distinct and different from all the other ones that we've seen before. It's really cool. It almost reminds me of the Protoss a bit from StarCraft. It's very like smooth flowing designs. People sometimes joke that the doors look like certain genitalia, but I think that the Lemorne architecture is just absolutely gorgeous. And then, you know, I've only spent a little bit of time in a couple of the other areas. I've only spent a little bit of time in some of the other areas, like there's a volcano place which I was at for a little bit. There's an icy place that I've been at for a little bit. And you see like different aspects of the Lemorne history as you go. It tells you the story of the game over time very comfortably. And I have theories as to where it's going, like the story of this world, like Viros and all that, and like the story of the Lemorne. But it's really cool because like you go to these different places and the architecture looks different, and it's because there's different eras of architecture that you're at. And I don't want to spoil too much, but like on Viros, the Lemorne went through what they called like the mechanical age, and the mechanical age might have been the mechanical era, was defined by them using industry and technology to propel themselves forward. But that was damaging their planet, so they just said, nah, we're leaving that behind. And so they stopped. They ended their mechanical era, and then they moved on into what they called the psychic era or whatever. And it was, you know, they still had high-tech stuff, but they weren't doing things where the focus of their existence was on mechanical things. They literally stopped using vehicles and stuff like that, and instead made these like psychic teleportation systems. You know, and they still had vehicles for certain things, but it wasn't like you didn't own a motorcycle, you know, like the bike in the game. Like you didn't own one anymore. Everyone stopped using those. It would be like if everyone on Earth got rid of their cars, because we just went, no, these aren't good for the environment, so we just threw them out, stopped using them. And then the only vehicles that were in use still were things like trucks, cargo planes, and things like that. Like things that served a like utilitarian function, a like economic function, but like not things that like served just like, yeah, it gets me from point A to point B and it looks really cool. Like none of that. Point A to point B stuff, it's like, no, you teleport. What are you doing? Teleport there, man. Walk it. It's very interesting. But no, I'm loving Prime 4, and I just, even though I'm bookending Legends ZA with rambling about Prime 4, and you know, I will say, I don't think it's gonna be in the end my favorite Switch 2 game so far. I genuinely don't think it's gonna be able to pass up Air Riders for me. I love Air Riders so much. I think it might be a while before a Nintendo game passes up Air Riders for me. But no, I'm loving Prime 4. I cannot recommend it enough. Like if you have a Switch 1, play it there. The control schemes are good. You can remap controls as well, which is kind of nice. It's a little finicky in that when you remap, you're remapping that button and you're swapping it with another button. So say I want shooting to go from A and I want it to be on this button instead. It swaps what the A button was with that button. And that's for all of the different things. So whether I'm in a morph ball, or whether I am out and about as Samus, or whether I'm on my bike, A, like for my case, I've swapped A with ZR because I wanted shoot to be like I'm pulling a trigger. And I'm using pointer control, so I'm aiming with like my Joy-Con and shooting like that. And it works really well, and it's really comfortable, and I prefer that playstyle I do have to recenter myself still on Switch 2, but that was a thing with pointer controls on Switch 1 as well. You have to recenter yourself on occasion. But, you know, I would just be going around and I'd be shooting. You know, I'd start blasting. And it's really comfortable. But now that means, as a result, when I'm in my Morph Ball, if I want to put a bomb down, I have to pull a trigger. And I'm like, that doesn't click in my head as correct an input. So it's like if I could have switched just shooting, but not also my bombs. Or when I'm on the bike, the A button becomes gas. But my A button is my ZR button. So gas, I have to, you know, hold down the trigger, which, you know, it's fine. It's not the most comfortable thing for me. But I know a lot of games use that, where it's like you're using one of the triggers as the gas, maybe like the other one is the brake, to kind of replicate like a foot pedal. It's not as comfortable for me to like do it that way, especially because I'm holding it like this, you know, when I'm doing everything else. Like my hand is holding it like that, the Joy-Con like a gun. So that, to push down on a trigger rather than that, is a little more of a, I don't know, it's a little more awkward of a move. But like, it's not a big issue. I think the biggest issue I have is because I have ZR as normal shoot, and I have R as like missiles and like sub-weapon shoot. And so when I do that, the sub-weapon becomes your normal weapon on the bike. So gas is the same like spot for a finger as shoot. So what I do is when I'm on the bike is I'll switch and I'll rest 2 fingers. One so that I can have R, one so that I can have ZR. But that's just the way I remapped. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who play the game and they just are comfortable with the normal mapping. I wanted to switch it up a bit, personally. And I think it's really cool that you can. You can switch to mouse mode. Like you can turn off that setting to switch to mouse mode automatically, but like it switches super smoothly. I don't use it a lot because I'm using the pointer controls like Wii style, and I don't want to use mouse mode. But you can use mouse mode, and actually you can use mouse mode in the Wii style, which is very interesting. So if you switch to using pointer controls, the mouse will move a cursor around your screen rather than moving your view, and then you aim at the cursor to shoot. And then if you bring the cursor to the left or right, like it'll turn your head. So it functions exactly as like the Wii would in an emulator, pretty much. And I think that's really cool. My only gripe with it is that you can't invert the mouse in that mode, and it's probably because the cursor motion controls and the cursor mouse controls are both just, it's going into the same thing. It's just changing changing the input. So it's like maybe it would just be kind of weird to implement the inversion because I use inverted y-axis. But if you don't use inverted y-axis like most people do nowadays, it's fine. You're gonna love it. But then there's also the default controls, which are more like the GameCube and a standard first-person shooter. And so if you're using mouse mode in that, it's just gonna feel like you're playing a PC game. Like this game, the day they figure out Switch 2 emulation, is people are gonna love this on PC. If they don't want to, if for whatever reason they don't have it on Switch 2 yet, and whatever, like, they're gonna love it on PC. But no, I think it's really cool. The fact that you can remap also means that if you want to play in PC mode and you want your left click to be a normal shot and you want your right click to be like a missile shot, you can map it that way. You can just swap it to be like that, and it'll work just fine. But no, awesome game. The controls are really good. I've been doing motion control, so I'm literally taking out my Joy-Cons, putting the straps on them, and going, and it feels so good. It feels exactly like Prime 3 did to do that, but with it having to be recentered on occasion because it's using gyro, not not like a sensor bar. But a really cool thing that you can do, and I don't know what the controls are in normal play, but if you're using pointer play and you're using 2 Joy-Cons, You unlock like a grapple beam. I guess it's the psychic grapple, and you can like, or sorry, it's the psychic lasso, and you can like whip it out. And that's the thing, is like you target a thing, and then you use the arm that it comes out of, and she goes whoosh, and like lassos something, and then you want to pull it. You literally pull the Joy-Con back. There's a little finesse to how it's handled. I don't know exactly. I don't know if I'm just doing the motion wrong, or if I'm just yoinking too fast and it's like throwing off the gyro. But it's really fun, and like once I figured out the rhythm of it, just whoosh, wham, feels really good. So I'm literally like, I'm going like pew, 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 then I like grab a thing and I'm like whoosh, and I don't know, it's sick. It's so cool. It feels so good in motion controls, and I'm so happy to see someone adapt, you know, an engaging motion control scheme. Because, you know, for the most part, a lot of motion control games, like, it's built for you to be playing on like a pro controller, you know, like this, and you're, you know, aiming by just rotating this and looking around. And that works for a lot of games. It did not click with me at all for Metroid Prime. I need to use one hand to aim like this and one hand to just move. I need that if it's Metroid Prime and I'm doing motion. But trust me, such a slick game, such a good game. There's a lot of people who aren't huge on it, and that's okay. You don't gotta be. I think it's a pretty divisive Metroid Prime game, but for me personally, it is scratching an itch that no game since Prime 1 Remastered has scratched. But Prime 1 Remastered doesn't really scratch my Metroid Prime itch, because that is... Prime 1 was my third favorite of the original trilogy, so it's like, yeah, it's my least favorite one. It's still a great game, but, you know, Prime 1 Remastered was my least favorite Prime game, but again, at least of the numbered trilogy. But then Prime 2 was my favorite. And this is scratching some of my Prime 2 itch, a lot of my Prime 3 itch. And I think that's awesome. But if you've never played a Prime game, this is a great one. I honestly think this is a fine place to start. If you want to play the one that most people feel is the best, get one remastered and play that. Honestly, I really hope that they do a 4K patch for it at some point. So you can just like play the game at like 4K or up to like 120 FPS. Because that game's also really pretty, and I think it would look really good playing nicely on a Switch 2. Just like it already looks really good playing nicely on a Switch 1. But yeah, no. I, again, have rambled long enough. I've rambled too long about Metroid Prime 4. And I desperately need to start getting my sweet potatoes working on. So, yeah, that's going to be all for today's stream. So thank you so much if you joined me live or after the fact. Either way is cool with me as long as you had some fun. That said, I'm going to go do human things as humans do, and you probably should too. What you should do. Switch 1 or Switch 2. Think about getting Prime 4. Think about it. Please, for me. I love that game. I want to see Prime 5. I know this is supposed to be the start of more Prime games, and I want to see Retro do more. I want to see Retro do more. I trust Retro to do, you know, do more and do it well. I trust them to also be able to take feedback from 4 of things people didn't care for and work on that for a 5. So please, Metroid games never sell well. Please play Prime 4. It was probably the most expensive Metroid Prime game they've ever made, because it took like 7 years of development time. It had to be restarted and whatnot, but please, it's good. It is a good game. Ignore the hate that you're seeing online. There are people making insane gripes, and it's like, yes, you might not like some of those things that people are criticizing. However, that does not change the fact that 8 out of 10 is a great score. So even if someone is saying, it's a good game, but there's parts that I'm like, I don't like that. You know, there's some people who are focusing on those parts that some people are going, I don't like that, and ignoring the fact that the rest of the game is, in what some people have described, Metroid Prime at its best. And, you know, the parts that some people didn't like were like, oh no, this is Metroid Prime at its worst. but at the very least, this game has moments that are Metroid Prime at its best, and a lot of what I've played, I feel, is Metroid Prime true to form. So I'll say that, at least. But yeah, that's it. I'm leaving now. I'm going. No more. I'm gonna end the stream, and I'm gonna go make sweet potatoes. So, goodbye.